So what we're going to talk about here is we're going to talk about mental health. And as you may or may not know, May is the month of mental health awareness. Now, mental health is, to me, is the number one issue. It's on the top. There's no question in my mind that mental health is the issue that we're all facing in the 21st century. Now, I am a co-founder of a company called Silentmode, and we are trying to help people with their daily stress. We're helping people with performance. We are working with a lot of athletes. We're working with DJs. We're working with people all around the world. And how we are doing this is that we're helping them first off with going in and using breath work. So breath work has a significant effect, and we are creating hardware as well. So we have a mask where you can get complete blackout. And if you go to the perks session, you can get a 20% discount of it until Sunday evening. Now, so for me, my name is Jens. I am originally from Denmark. I've lived in Asia now for about 10 years. During this time, I've started up in Beijing at Peking University, and we started Silentmode here about 4 years ago. And I wanted to share a story with you about my own history with depression. Depression is a global phenomenon. For me, it started in my late teens, where I started finding myself not really wanted to engage. I did not want to really spend time with people. I got very, very tired from many things. And for depression, it affected everything. It completely ruined my studies. So I was very delayed of graduating. And depression gives you that feeling inside of like emptiness. Many people describe it as the bottom of a black hole, and depression goes in and takes over your entire life. And the ridiculous thing is that you know it is ridiculous. You know that other people have no problems calling back their friends or getting lunch or doing your everyday activities. But that is the effect that depression have on you. Now, so Andrew Solomon wrote it very, very beautifully, is that the opposite of depression is not happiness, but vitality. And it is vitality that is lost going into depression. So I call these the 10 years where I was looking into the ceiling, and my depression didn't really lift it until I was 26, 27. It was, and I was through the entire mill, pills, therapy, everything. And so now I find myself having founded Silentmode together with my co-founder Bradley in this fantastic situation that Silentmode is my revenge on depression. We are helping tens of thousands of people around the world every single day. All of that to improve mental health. Because when we are talking about mental health, language is not enough, because a lot of these terms are being devalued. Like, you would hear people saying, like, oh, this rain is making me depressed. No, it is not making you depressed. Depression is a completely different beast. It's not even in the same league. It's not even the same game. The second is stress. Stress, there is a lot of issues regarding the term stress. A lot of people, they're thinking, oh, this is stressing me out. Now, there are many different kinds of stress. We have the good stress. The good stress that hopefully you've all experienced from time to time. You know, you're at work, you have a lot to do, and you just focus, laser focus, and you get a lot of things done. And that is the good stress. That is the stress where you have issues that you can do something about. And so with that, a lot of us actually get a good energy of that kind of stress. Now, that is the good stress. That is where stress is truly helpful. But then you get the bad stress. The bad stress is when you can't let go when you go home. The stress keep on lingering in your mind. You can't sleep. It affects you badly. And as we move further down with bad stress, this is where people started drinking, started doing drugs, beat up their kids. All of these issues that we see in many people. That bad stress is simply just taking over their lives. The next step in that is when we're talking about chronic stress. Now, so chronic stress is when you have had this bad stress over a prolonged amount of time. Now, so that stress, when you go into chronic stress, that is actually changing the way that your mind works. It is physically changing your mind. So when you do MRI scans, you can see the difference in your brain if you're under chronic stress. Furthermore, when we come to chronic stress, the Nobel Prize was given a few years ago to Elizabeth Blackburn and her research on telomeres. So telomeres, I'm not going to go deep into the science because we don't have enough time to really do it justice, but that will have to wait to some other times. But telomeres are, the DNA strings. On each end of the DNA is a number of DNA sets that is not used. So every time a cell of yours divides, a little bit of those telomeres gets cut off. As more and more cell divisions occur, and more of these telomeres are cut off, when you go into the DNA, that is actually the cell dies. And what, amongst her research that she got the Nobel Prize for, is that chronic stress means that a bigger piece of that DNA is cut off every single time. So stress and chronic stress literally makes you older before time. It will kill you before time as well. And we see these kind of examples all the time in public lives. Look at Barack Obama, for instance, when he started being president in 2008, and look at him in 2016. He has aged more than 8 years doing his presidency. So chronic stress and the bad stress for prolonged amount of time has a physical response in your body. Now, a lot of other people experience burnout. Now, so burnout, and most people, at least after they've been in the workforce, especially in startups over a series of time, has with people who have dealt with burnout. So burnout is when, you get critical. You get critical of everything, and you don't really want to go to work, and you're not happy about going to work anymore. And some people then go in and getting close to depression, right? Where some people, they wake up in the morning and just like, I can't do this anymore. That is when the vitality is completely lost from people. So mental health, I believe, and I'm gonna repeat what I just said. That is the number one issue that is on the top of the 21st century. There's no question about that in my mind. So, and I see we got company now. So everything is working now?
Yeah, all set. I didn't realize that I couldn't come in from my phone, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm at a coffee shop. So yeah, tell me where you've left off, and if there's any topic I can dive deeper into. Maybe I'll just share with the wider audience a quick introduction. Obviously, I've gone way back with the Silentmode team for several years now, and I am a co-founder of Brutal Buddha with my co-founder, Ro. I believe he's on the line. And we started this business to help men get into yoga, mindfulness, practice, and really deal with men on a day-to-day basis. Our mission is to help active men seeking balance live longer, healthier lives. And I think we don't really see the concept of burnout and depression in the day-to-day, but it's a buildup over time, right? Yeah. We go through life, really dealing with so much adversity. And what might not bother you in 2 years is bothering you so intensely in your heart right now. And I think, one of the blessings about products like Silentmode is it really educates the market on what can be done to take, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to yourself in the middle of, a 14-hour workday, or Brutal Buddha providing shorts to men to help them get on the mat and have an actual really great functional pair of shorts for their active lifestyle. So tell me, Jen, what did I miss, and where can we pick up the discussion? Anything around?
What talked about so far is kind of laying out the land. So defining stress, we have defined burnout, we have defined depression, and the different kind of levels of stress and those consequences. So I think like one of the big things today on the summit is business. So we should talk more about mental health and business for now. So mental health and business. Now, so we're not as many as I was hoping, but
sorry, I think we have a solid 9.
Yeah. Ooh. No. So mental health and business. Now, everyone who is here, all of us are working with our minds. Of everyone who is participating today, I mean, there's going to be very few construction workers. There's not going to be any factory workers. Anyone doing physical labor, we are all working with our minds. And in this day and age, for all of your companies, I see we got some CEOs and other managers participating today, but all of the companies that we're working for, the very thoughts and ideas is the company's product. So mental health, if you're not mentally healthy, that is the equivalent of a factory worker going to work with a broken arm. So mental health, particularly for businesses, and I could quote an awful lot of numbers, like huge numbers. Oh, it's billions, it's trillions, affecting the businesses all around the world. every single year with the issues with mental health. But that will start getting boring. But what we can say is, and I think this is really, really important, is that in the fall of 2000, The Economist and Prudential made a survey called the Health of Asia Barometer. And in this research, about 24% has taken measures to improve the emotional well-being and their own mental health. 22% of the people in Asia has taken measures to improve their sleep. And 18% has taken measures to reduce work-related and other stress factors. Now, so I'm sure that these numbers are the same people, and these are only the people actively taking measures, which means that this is a huge, huge problem. And the worst is that in many cultures, stress and mental health in general is a taboo. It is an issue where it goes like, well, you're not strong enough. And it is your own fault. Now, and this is why talking about mental health is so important.
Who do you typically go to, Jen? So it's one thing that's come up in my life personally as well. I think I missed your personal story around depression at one point, and You know, I obviously know most people at some point in their lives go through some form of it. How do you know who to go speak to, right? A lot of people internalize problems that they're facing. They might go see a professional therapist. They might speak to friends, and there's the concept of not being able to get, you know, to an actual end site when it comes to your mental health or some dilemma that you're facing. What do you recommend to your audience at Silentmode as far as talking openly? Here at Brutal Buddha, we have a big push and a big surge around you know, community and being able to lean on each other. What do you typically think about communication around mental health issues?
Well, internally in the company, we are very, very open. We have one-on-ones with every employee every single week, where we talk about not just work-related stuff, but also what is going on in your life. Like, because we see all of our employees, our entire team, as beings. They are not just the people who go to work from 9 to 5 every single day, but it could be, for instance, I had an employee who ended a relationship, right, which was very, very hard on him, and now so he broke up with his boyfriend over that he had been with for quite some time. And of course, this is the kind of thing that affects. So talk with him, offer any kind of support that we can, and of course, let him take his time, because the way, I mean, we are no longer just ticking clocks, right? When it comes to work, like 100 years ago, it was like, okay, meet at work at 8, leave at 4, and that's it, right? But, well, it's probably more like 6 o'clock. But the point is that we are all whole human beings. We have our employees. They are allowed to, you know, take days off if they need, but it's not like we are counting numbers or anything like that, because we know then when people, they're 100% and they're good, they work their asses off. You know, they work until 8. They answer a message at 10 o'clock at night if need be. I mean, we're trying to limit any kind of external communication. So when they have time off, they actually have time off, because we know how important it is. There's nothing that increases stress as getting a call at midnight from your boss, right? That would be the absolute worst. So
why you need to be on airplane mode. You need to be on an
airplane.
Yes,
exactly.
These are great concept, Jens. I'm just mindful of the time. I know we have 5-10 minutes left.
Yeah.
And just address some of the questions. So we have one from Simran. What are your practical tips to manage stress during a workday, in particular to calm the nervous system during the day? I think this is a good one for you with Silentmode. If you want to take that one, and I'll take the next.
It is. Now is that to manage stress now. So we perform breathwork now. So conveniently, we have an iOS app that you can download. If you're on Android, we don't have an app yet, but we do have sessions on YouTube that you can use. Also, we have on a website, and I can see here. So this is how.
Yeah, that's good. I'll jump in there as well. I think.
Yeah. And
I'll jump in. I think. Sorry, I think.
So, secondly, we are also big believers in naps. Naps is proven. The NASA did a 24-minute nap where they saw an increase in the pilots of attention to detail and productivity up to after the nap. So it is a very, very powerful tool. Let's see what else we have.
So I'll jump in here as well. I think some practical tips are also to take a break from your phone and take a break from the apps. Really just go out for a walk in nature. I know it's hard to comprehend when you live in a big city, but getting out of the office, going for a long walk. Back in the day, I would go for at least a 30-minute walk to really just take some pauses from the day to day. The next question is from Ro. He talks about chief happiness officers and the role that they play as a therapy type of role versus just HR. How do we actually see this role evolving? Is it necessary in today's post-COVID world? I'll kick off with that one. I think it's really important to have a chief happiness officer to some level. I don't think you need one role itself. I think it can be a committee or a community within the organization that focuses on it, but you do need someone to spearhead it. So that's kind of my initial thoughts. In a corporate setting, I think within a startup, like Silentmode or within Brutal Buddha, you do need to have more of a general philosophy around achieving happiness, living free, being happy day to day. So it's a great question, Ro. What do you think about that one, Jens?
I think this is very important, and there are different ways to tackle it. There's a Danish startup that I follow. Simply just taking your mom doesn't work here. Well, they hired the moms to take care of the employees, like baking cakes and just basically just trying happiness officers, right? So I think that the cheap happiness offer is still very important. The only problem with that role is that for many companies, this is the happiness of the customers, not the employees.
Good one. So we'll go to the next question from Kyle Hickey. So powerful words, he says. Thanks, Kyle. An amazing perspective on what stress is versus depression, right? Like as humans, we all deal with stress. Depression trickles down, as you mentioned, from how we handle it and how we deal with it. And I think there's so many tools and actions out there. And Kyle's curious, what can we recommend to for those who feel the signs of depression coming on? So maybe after several weeks or several months of trying to find your purpose, or in my instance, dealing with some interpersonal relationship issues, for several weeks and months. And I think really just comes down to the simple concept of what is going to tee you up for success and happiness in the future by the actions you take today. So Kyle, myself, Ro, we're all part of the Brutal Buddha community. And I teach yoga once a week, and we practice that on a consistent basis to stretch our bodies, stay present in the moment. And it's those mindfulness practices, the meditation, the yoga, the physical asana from a Brutal Buddha standpoint that really helps to take action, right? But like in between those moments, what would you recommend as far as advising someone to watch out for onset of depression, since you've had some personal experience?
Yes, it is two things now. So it depends very much where you're at. If you are just getting like some of these, push the brake, right? You have to get that mindful idea about who you are and what you are doing. There can be any number of, that could be, make sure that as simple as just make sure that you get enough sleep. That is like the number one thing. And you can go in and you can help, and you can help yourself by talking with other people who has actually gone through it. And if you are starting to get a depression, get professional help. Don't try or anything like that, just get professional help, because it can literally save you years. So, and we have now we have, I believe that's coming up now, a breathwork session in one of the other channels. I think that might be the stage. Try a session there and really try and enjoy it, and do what Aigul is saying, one of our Breathonics ambassadors.
Amazing. We have another question from Glycel. Sometimes we get overwhelmed when things become too stressful. Where do you suggest people start to manage this when they don't even know where to begin? So I'll kick off with that. I think the first place to begin is within, right? Like, really take some time to go within, pull out your journal, write some reflections and thoughts, do a brain dump, get things on paper. That's one thing the way is to start using apps like the Silentmode breathwork app. You can use Calm. There's so many free apps out there, and it's a great way to just follow a 5-minute, 10-minute tutorial, maybe something that is just peaceful sound, or a guided meditation with words to calm you down. And I think one thing Ro and I have been doing lately is just going on long walks. There's nothing like a long walk. We're engineered to think deeply when we just move our body slowly, get in motion. But I think as far as getting started, when it just becomes too stressful and too overbearing, is to see the big picture. So I was having a conversation earlier today, and when you slow down and you think about our purpose here on this earth and the mortality that we all face, we only have so much time and energy to expend. Everyone is eventually going to come to the end of the road. So when you think big picture and you start to see the universe for what it is, you can slow down and start to tackle the day to day, the hour to hour, in a more concise way. So yeah, those are some of my initial thoughts. What about you before we wrap up?
Yeah, and I would add to that, talk with someone. Talk with a friend. Talk to someone who is a mentor. If you have a mentor, talk with them about it, because I'm sure they've tried the same thing. So
beautiful.
Oh, well, absolutely. Yeah.
I wanted to also ask you, Jens, as you continue to build the empire at Silentmode with Bradley and the team in Brink, what do you see as a big hurdle in the realm of mental health, right? Like, obviously in the last 2 years with, especially in Hong Kong with the protests, and then pandemic happening, and then global travel shutting down, and, Black Lives Matter movement, the fires in Hawaii, it just never ends, right? The explosions around the world in Lebanon, etc., anti-Semitism. So what do you see for the future of the business as it relates to mental health? And also, where do you think other companies like Brutal Buddha can support you in your mission?
That's a very big question. I think that in the future, of the things we absolutely have to do is that we have to fight the taboo around mental health. We have to open the discussions about it. And what we're gonna need is that we're gonna need some role models of people who have gone through this, who's aware of it, who is talking about it, who is making it aware of it. And we need to get companies together to really go in and help this. We did a study with LinkedIn 2 years ago of a group of employees who were using Silentmode regularly for 3 weeks, and they saw a productivity increase of 50%. So it is not just, so when you're mentally healthy, boom, you can. That's really where that makes all the difference in the world. So yes, start today is really where it matters. Don't delay. Don't delay.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And Glycel had a comment. Being in your head too much can definitely be completely overbearing.
Yes.
And I'll be first to say, the last several weeks for me, you know, being apart from my family, from my partner, it's been extremely overbearing in many ways. And, you know, no matter how much you preach it, it's very, very tough to actually walk the talk, you know, even for guys like you and I who've had, who've had issues with mental health, you know, over the years. And I'll come out and say I also lost my sibling who is 5 years younger than me about a year and a half ago. And I ruminated on it for months and months and months, you know, why did this happen? What happened? And I think the dwelling piece is natural. It's part of the cycle of grief, and grief is okay. You need grief in order to heal. So I think it's a great point, Glycel. Any final comments or closing thoughts from you, Jens, on that?
Yes. I mean, grief is totally cool, and that is something that we all have to go through. I mean, we lost our primary designer last summer in a motorcycle accident, and it was absolutely terrible, and it took me a long time. I mean, we shut down for a week because everyone just couldn't do it, right? And the main thing that we did as a team was to sit down and talk about it. Don't hide these kind of things. Get it out in the open.
Beautiful. Well, I think we're at the top of the half hour, a little bit over.
Yeah.
And, I'm not sure what I missed in the first 10 minutes. Sorry again. I didn't realize I couldn't do it from my phone. I just moved into a new place, no Wi-Fi. So right off the bat, dealing with some negative distress. That's all part of it, right?
Exactly.
So, you know, I think it's probably a small blessing, and I appreciate you holding down the fort in the beginning.
Yeah,
are there any final topics, Jens, that you want to bounce off of me? Any questions you have for Brutal Buddha?
Yeah. Now, so with yoga, right? Because I'm not a big yoga guy, but how much time do you have to do yoga every day to see a benefit? What is the needed for time?
I think it's different for everyone, Jens. I think some people need to do a 15-minute stretch and get on the mat every day. For some people, it's once a week. Others, it might just be, you know, when they feel like they need it, you know, random. It's almost like on the treadmill, you know, random or hills. For me personally, I like to practice 3 days a week at least. I think it's important to, you know, continue stretching the body, clear the mind. I usually like to follow a routine. Back in the day, I would go to class before COVID, and it was a great way to just get in and push through and really get, you know, present with the class and the teacher and the people around you.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any specific routine on the frequency, but what about for you? Do you practice yoga?
I don't actually. I don't. I have between work and my little son, it's just like I have maybe 1 hour during the day where I can just kind of use to myself, and I'm too tired to really do much at the time. I just but it is something that I have many friends who really loves it, and it's hugely bad. I really hope that I can get started on doing it, because it really seems like the exercise that is really for me.
You should give it a go. I know
totally.
It's definitely a healthy exercise. So Rose says it's twice a week, at least 45 minutes to start feeling the benefits. I would agree. I think in order to really feel your body loosening up and to relieve stress, 30 to 45 minutes minimum is definitely helpful. You know, probably 2 or 3 times a week. So, guys, thank you everyone for joining today's session. Sorry for some background noise. And I think when it comes to Mental Health Awareness Month, keep spreading the word. Keep letting people know that what you're going through. Open up social media and also live in-person chats, right? I've been having deep discussions with my co-founder, Ro, with my friend Kyle, with Andrew, who set this up, with the Brink guys, and now with you, Jen. So thank you, everyone, for showing up today. You can find Jen's and the team at silentmode.com. So you put it in the group chat. Please take a look. And you can find Brutal Buddha. You can either just Google Brutal Buddha, or you can go to brutalbuddhagear.com. So we have 5 different colors of short. They're built for men. Eventually, we'll get to women. And our mission, again, is to help active men seeking balance live longer, healthier lives, both mentally, physically, and emotionally.
And final thing here, because you just mentioned it. The mental health for men is the most important thing, because there's so many options for women, but men, that is the big issue. And statistically, men gets hardest hit. They're the ones with the most mental problem, the most drinking problem, the most drug problem. They're the one committing suicide, etc. So men, my fellow men out there, we gotta up the ante and start talking about this. So
I agree with that. So check it out. And one final comment from Ro is that before May 31st, all sales with Brutal Buddha will go to which is the National Association on Mental Health Illness during the month of May. So I do have my calendar up, and I'm seeing we have 4.5 days. So act today, grab a pair, reach out to us individually. You can find us and you can email us at team@brutalbuddhagear.com. Guys, thank you so much, Jens. Thanks for co-hosting with me and just having a good powwow. And I'll hope to see you very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, thank you, everyone.
Namaste, brutal, as we say.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. See you soon.
Cheers.